You're driving.
You first need to understand the role Japan has played behind the scenes for decades. Japan didn't just keep interest rates low, it kept them near zero for almost 30 years. That decision turned Japan into the cheapest source of money on the planet. Global investors discovered something powerful. They could borrow in Japan at almost no cost, convert that money into dollars or euros, and invest it elsewhere for higher returns. This strategy became known as the carry trade, and it quietly reshaped the modern financial world. Governments benefited, corporations benefited, asset markets benefited. As long as the interest rate gap existed, the trade worked. Borrow cheap in Japan, invest in higher-yielding assets abroad, pocket the difference. For years, this flow of capital acted like invisible glue. It helped finance U.S. government deficits. It supported European bond markets during repeated crises. It kept borrowing costs lower than they otherwise would have been. Japan became the silent lender of last resort. Over time, Japanese investors accumulated trillions of dollars in foreign assets. A massive share of that money went into U.S. Treasury bonds. That demand helped stabilize American interest rates even as U.S. debt exploded. Markets came to depend on it. Cheap money felt permanent. Liquidity felt endless. Risk felt manageable. But in finance, permanence is often an illusion. The carry trade only works under one condition. Japanese interest rates must stay lower than everyone else's. The moment that condition changes, the entire calculation changes with it. Returns shrink, currency risk grows, and suddenly, what once felt safe begins to look fragile. That's why a single sentence from Japan's central bank mattered so much. It wasn't about what they did. It was about what they might do next. Because if Japanese rates rise, even modestly, the logic holding trillions of dollars in place starts to break. And when that logic breaks, capital doesn't hesitate. It moves, quietly at first, then all at once. And that's where the real danger begins.
If you have $50 to spend,
gives.
Here's something most people don't understand about poverty. It's not just about money. It's about what poverty does to your brain. There is a concept called scarcity mindset. Studies have shown that when you are legitimately worried about money, when you don't know how you're going to pay rent next week, your functional IQ actually drops by about 13 points. That is the equivalent of missing a night of sleep. Your brain is so consumed with immediate survival that you physically lose the capacity to make long-term strategic decisions. This is why when people are broke, they often make decisions that look stupid to outsiders. They take the payday loan with 400% interest. They buy the lottery ticket. They eat the fast food instead of cooking. It's not because they're dumb. It's because their cognitive bandwidth is maxed out just trying to survive the day. The Boots theory isn't just about the math of money. It's about the math of mental energy. The rich man doesn't just save $50 on boots. He saves the mental energy of not having to worry about his feet getting wet for 10 years. He can use that brain power to invest, to learn a new skill, to start a business. The poor man is stuck in a loop of constant low-level panic. His brain is literally running in survival mode. And survival mode doesn't make good financial decisions. It makes desperate ones. This is the invisible cost of poverty that nobody talks about. It's not just money you lose. It's your ability to think clearly about your future.
In the United States, unless you live in one of 3 cities, you need a car to work. A wealthy person buys a 3-year-old Toyota or Honda. It costs maybe $20,000. They pay cash or get a low-interest loan at 4 or 5%. That car runs for 10 years with just oil changes. The total cost of ownership is low. Now look at the person with bad credit and no savings. They need a car to get to the job to make the money. They go to a buy here, pay here lot. The predatory dealership sells them a high-mileage clunker worth maybe $4,000, but they sell it for $8,000. Then, because they have bad credit, the interest rate is 24%. If you do the math, over the life of that loan, they might pay $15,000 for a car that was worth $4,000. And here's the kicker. The car will likely break down before the loan is paid off. So they're still making payments on a dead car while trying to finance a new one. This is the poverty trap in high definition. You aren't just paying for the car. You're paying a risk premium because society has deemed you risky. And the only way to stop being risky is to have money, which you can't save because you're paying the risk premium. It is a cycle designed to keep you exactly where you are. And right now, in 2025, this is happening to millions of people. The system isn't accidental. It's architectural. Renting versus owning is the ultimate Boots theory example. When you rent, you are paying 100% interest. You get zero equity. You're paying your landlord's mortgage plus a profit margin. But to buy a house, you need a down payment. $10,000, maybe $20,000. If you're paying 50% of your income in rent because rent prices are sky high, you can never save that down payment. You're trapped paying $2,000 a month in rent for an apartment that would cost you $1,200 a month if you owned it. The rich person buys the house, lowers their monthly overhead, and gains an asset that appreciates in value. The poor person pays more monthly for an asset they will never own. It's expensive to be poor because you are renting your entire existence. You are renting your shelter. You are renting your money through credit card interest. You are renting your stability. And every month, money flows out of your account into someone else's wealth. But here's what most people miss. The gap between rent and mortgage isn't just about monthly payments. It's about 30 years of compounding. The rich person's house appreciates by 3% annually. After 30 years, their $300,000 house is worth $720,000. Meanwhile, the renter has paid $720,000 in rent and owns nothing. The math isn't just unfair. It's catastrophic. And the worst part? The system makes it impossible to escape. If the system is designed to keep you poor, how do you escape? The answer is simpler than you think, but it requires understanding one critical concept: the buffer. The only way to stop the cycle of buying cheap boots is to artificially create a period where you don't buy any boots at all, so you can save for the good ones. This is why the emergency fund, that first $1,000, is the most important financial tool you will ever have. Not because $1,000 is a lot of money, but because $1,000 breaks the cycle. When you have $1,000 in emergency savings, that check engine light doesn't become a $2,500 catastrophe. You pay the $300. You move on. You don't miss work. You don't lose wages. You don't spiral. $1,000 is the difference between a setback and a collapse. But here's the truth that financial gurus don't tell you. If you're broke, saving $1,000 isn't about discipline. It's about strategy. It's about understanding that paying off credit card debt at 20% interest is a guaranteed 20% return on your money. It's about understanding that buying a reliable toaster for $50 so you don't replace the $10 one every year is an investment. The first step out of this trap isn't trying to get rich. It's trying to stop the bleeding. And if you want to understand the exact strategies that break this cycle, if you want to see the math that shows you how to build that first $1,000 buffer, subscribe to Mac Invests. Because the next video is going to show you the exact playbook, and it's going to change how you think about money forever. If this video helped you understand why the system feels rigged, leave a like and comment which part shocked you the most. Because once you see the math, you can't unsee it. And knowledge is the first step to freedom.